Kevin Miller's your best friend.
He is.
Why wasn't he here on the podcast?
Oh, he is here. Would it be funny if he just came out that door right now?
He's been in there since episode 1, guys. Maybe one day we'll let him out of the closet.
As soon as Sony gives us a new Sly game, they let Sly out of Egypt, I let Kevin Miller out of my closet.
Trade off. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the HGO podcast. I am your host for today, Ethan, and as always, I am joined with my good friends, Hunter and Kyle. Hey, guys, how you doing?
I'm doing just
pretty solid.
Yeah, it's good to be here. We have video games, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. We're ready for video game season.
Have video games.
Yeah,
September is the month of video games, it seems.
Quite a few, yeah. September is the third-party releases, and then October in particular is very much Nintendo's month. And then November, who knows what's coming out in November? We still don't know. We'll find out.
I believe.
Pokemon, yeah. All your normie shit.
Shin Megami
Tensei 5, yeah. All that good
Call
stuff.
of Duty.
Yeah, wonderful. All those great
Yep,
games.
all the normie shit.
All the normie shit. But now, welcome back to the show, everybody, where each and every week we come together to talk about everything that we love in the world of gaming. You can find us on podcast services everywhere. Just search for Hot Gamers Only or go to linktree/Hot Gamers Only, where you can find us on your favourite podcast service. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Hot Gamers Only for future updates on episodes of the show and other projects that we work on YouTube. We don't just do podcasts, we also do guides. And by we, I mean Kane. We also do reviews.
We also make reviews sometimes.
Hunter, yeah.
By
Hunter,
we mean Hunter.
Hunter makes reviews. I make the odd one or two. And by one or two, I mean one. Maybe we'll get Life is Strange soon enough. But hey, yeah, coming up on the show this week, we're going to talk about everything that happened in the PlayStation Showcase, what our thoughts, our expectations are. Some of the little hints and teasers to what's to come are also in there. We'll talk about that. Me and Hunter have both. It's been quick, but we've been playing Life is Strange, True Colors.
Yep.
We both have it. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to give our early thoughts, opinions, review, etc. Expect us to talk about only the first episode, and we're not even going to talk about that spoiler, so it's going to be spoiler free, so feel free to stick around even if you intend on watching it. Playing it. Yeah. It's the same thing. It's a fucking movie. It's a movie with some button inputs. But yeah, be sure to stick around because we won't be spoiling anything, even that one spoiler that Square Enix really wants everybody to fucking know before you play the game. And then if we have time, we might also talk about you, Hunter, playing some Dead Space.
Yeah.
There's lots to talk about.
I was going to say, we just talk about Hunter, nothing else.
It's
just him in particular.
Yeah, the H in HGO stands for Hunter. Hunter games only. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to point out, I thought about that joke when I said if Ethan's copy of Life is Strange didn't come in and Hunter had to do the show by himself.
Hunter's game only, yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been funny, yeah. Basically, for those of you who are unaware, my copy of Life is Strange was very last minute. I only got it today as of recording, and the game's been out technically since Thursday, digitally, so I'm really late behind it, so it was a close one. But I managed to play the first episode, so we're all good. So we'll talk all about it. So what I say we do is we start with Life is Strange, so Cal can have a nap, and then...
Cool.
Yeah.
We'll talk about PlayStation. Yeah, that's it. You get on your phone. Don't show what phone you have. They're not paying. But yeah, we'll talk about Life is Strange.
This episode is not sponsored by Samsung.
Definitely not. Yeah. I mean, do you like your Samsung phone, Cal? Because I had a Samsung phone and it was shit. Just thought we'd balance it. If you like your phone, I thought we'd balance it so then it was an equal opinion.
You didn't even say if you liked it.
My Samsungs have always worked for me, my Galaxies. So
Nah, you see, I had an S3 Mini and it overheated and died within a year.
That's rough.
Yeah.
How many Galaxies do you think they're gonna make before they come out with the Samsung universe?
No clue. Do you think they'll go to a multiverse afterwards?
Oh, probably.
Who knows? But yeah, so let's talk about Life is Strange True Colors, Life is Strange 3, Life is Strange 4, whatever you want to call it at this point. We're going to talk about it. So, to start with, like I said, we're not going to go into spoilers really. We're going to talk about a bit about episode 1, but we're not going to give away any big plot points. I've only played episode 1. Hunter, you're a bit further than I am, right?
Yeah, I'm in episode 3 at the moment.
Okay, yeah. So Hunter's about halfway through the game. I'm a fifth of the way through. It is a 5-episode thing. All 5 episodes are out now. I think they've been doing a good enough job in telling people that the whole game's coming out at once. But I thought I would 100% clarify. All 5 episodes are available as of September 10th. So you don't have to wait. There is a bonus episode coming if you have the deluxe edition called Wavelengths. So that's coming later this month.
As soon as I booted up the game, it asked me to buy the thing for that, and I'm like, man, really?
Yeah,
you're doing this to me right now?
Yeah, it's a bit of a scummy move.
Yeah.
And it's like £10 for an extra episode or whatever. Whether you'll play it or not, that's up to you. It's out at the end of September. I probably will end up playing it just because I'm a Life is Strange idiot and will play anything apparently at this point. But yeah, so all 5 episodes are out now, and it's available on absolutely everything. The Switch version is not out yet though, so if you're wanting to buy it on Switch, you're gonna have to wait a little while. I don't know when it's coming out, but it's coming out this year supposedly. But it's on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and PC. I don't know where it is on PC though. Probably should have done the look. Probably on Steam.
Or the Microsoft Store.
Yeah, or it's an Epic Game Store exclusive or something like that. Who knows? But it's one of them. So there you go. Bit of an introduction. So we're both playing it on PS5. You've seen Hunter's got his copy.
Yep.
Mine's there because I don't have anywhere to put it. We're both playing it on PS5. Hunter, what are your initial impressions?
Oh man, I'm enjoying this so far.
It's fucking good. Spoiler
alert.
It's
dude.
fucking good.
The writing feels a lot more natural than the first game, first and foremost. It feels much more like a thought that these people are thinking with actual thoughts that I could see someone having rather than someone trying to think what a teenage girl would think like.
I think it helps that the characters are adults. I think that helps. Alex is... The main character's called Alex Chen. And I believe she's 21, right? She's at least 21.
At least 21.
I don't know how old she is, but she's not a teenager. We're not doing the whole Life is Strange 1 and 2 cringy shit of, oh, we're in high school. Ooh, I've got the anxiety nerves.
Though I gotta say, Square Enix knew what they were doing releasing this at this time, because this is the week that a lot of places go back to school.
Yeah.
So obviously, teen drama.
Yeah, teen drama.
That's a great thing to release.
Yeah, it was also a suicide awareness week as well, which I'm like, that's a really weird week to put a Life is Strange game out. Bit of bad timing, but hey, it's fine. But yeah, so I'm loving this right now. I've only played the first episode, but one, it's the best looking Life is Strange game, and it's not even close. Yeah, this game is gorgeous.
By far.
It's kind of crazy how much of a glow up this is in comparison to let alone 1, 2. It's such a glow up. It looks so good. I don't know if they're using a new engine. I don't know what they're doing. But it does look awesome. And the thing that you're talking about is the writing is excellent, and I think the writing is a lot better. But the thing that helps the most to me is the fucking character models being good. Life is Strange has always had shit character models.
Being able to express.
Yeah. Life is Strange has always had kind of air character models where they kind of have the weird, uncanny valley animations where it's kind of weird emotes, it's weird emotions, right? Where you can't really tell what's happening. You can't tell if someone's dead in their eyes because they're sad, or if they're dead in their eyes because they forgot to fucking animate properly. But this game's fully mocapped, and you can tell because the models are high quality, and God, the facial animations are leaps and bounds ahead of what was in previous. The models actually
do things more than just in conversations, rather than just the back and forth camera. There is
actually a lack of the back and forth camera in a lot of it, which I'm a big fan of. The art direction and the graphics engine that they use in this game really do glow it up.
Dude, that beginning part where it just pans around shots of the environment while the song plays, I sat there, and even when it became clear that it was just looping through the same shots, I'm like, I'm gonna wait for the song to finish. This is cool to look at.
It's a Life is Strange classic, right? Where those scenes have been there before, but I very much have sat there just because of the atmosphere of listening to the music and going, I wonder what the character's thinking. But this was the first time where I've done that in a Life is Strange game where I'm like, yeah, I'm vibing to this, but I'm also just in awe of how fucking good this game looks. It's crazy how nice it looks. I will mention though that I'm a bit disappointed with the PS5 version at the moment. And I don't know if you've noticed this, Hunter. You probably haven't, because Hunter has the magical ability of not being fucking anal about the way games look and run. So he has the miracle of being super happy.
It is amazing. It's a gift.
Yeah, my big complaint with this, and here we go, the Nintendo Switch fans are going to come bombarding down the mountain and hit me when I say this. Kind of mad that it's locked at 30 FPS. I got used to it quickly, but it was extremely jarring to not have a 60 FPS option. This is the first PS5 game I've played that doesn't have that option. It was like one of those, when developers have been really good on PS5 where they've given you that choice. So when you have like that first moment where you're like, oh wait, this game isn't letting me have that choice. Like you're just used to something where you're like, oh, every game has this. So that was a bit annoying. But the one thing that's my one problem is it doesn't feel like it's a PS5 version. The loads felt like PS4 loads, where it takes like 6 or 7 seconds to load into a scene, and I'm like, I feel like this is just PS4 loads.
Yes, that is true. They do have I did watch the little booklet go a little bit.
Yeah, you have to watch the little gramophone go around and around. And also the popping's a bit shit.
There was one graphical thing I got where it transitioned out of a scene and then Alex was T-posing.
Oh, I did not get that. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, my one main problem is the first...
it was like out of a really emotional scene, too, was the best part.
No, my one problem that I had with the graphics was it was the first scene. It's the bridge scene where you walk across that bridge and it's this really beautiful bridge with flowers everywhere. And it looks gorgeous. At least it should have been, because for me the flowers weren't loading in properly and they were taking their sweet time loading in, and I was getting popping for days. I was getting like cyberpunk popping, where there was things like popping in like a meter ahead of me. It wasn't even like really far distance. It was like quite short distance things.
Suddenly the police spawned behind you and started chasing you.
Yeah, but after that one moment, like I didn't notice anything apart from that, and I got used to the frame rate pretty quickly. After that, there is a ray tracing option, by the way, guys, so enjoy those traced rays. You have to turn it on for some reason, but they're there. Is it because there's no fucking difference? Maybe. But yeah, but no, game looks good. Feels good. And also, the voice acting, I feel like this is the best voice acting in a Life is Strange game, by far. Yeah. I don't think it's even close.
I mean, the voice acting in the first game was something that I kind of like, okay, well, it's not good, but I'll accept it because
it's bad.
It contributed to the vibe, at least.
It gives you that indie film vibe, right? I always love to call Life is Strange like the indie film like equivalent of a video game, where it feels low budget. The acting is very much low budget. The story is kind of like low scale, right? Small scale stakes. It's a missing persons case essentially. It feels very indie, but that's what kind of helped to Life is Strange's original charm, was having Max be this kind of monotone kind of character where you can't tell where her emotions really lie at times because all the lines sound the same. And having Chloe, even though Chloe is voiced by Ashley Birch and she does a great job, she kind of is this kind of cringe lord video game character where she kind of goes
Ashley
a bit
Birch
too
did the
into it.
performance well, but Chloe herself as the character was a bit
Yeah, a bit of a cringe lord. Whereas this game, all the characters are great, and so are the performances. Max,
I agree.
Max is fucking great. I really, not Max, sorry, Alex is really great.
Alex?
Yeah, sorry, I talked too much about Life is Strange 1. Alex is really great as a protagonist, because Max, I like Max, but she's not like the most incredible, like, she's not an open book really. She keeps to herself. She's kind of a bit bland in a way. She's kind of your route into the world. And Sean and Daniel, I was never really a big fan of their dynamic and who they were as protagonists, because Sean's just, I don't know what to say about Sean really, other than he just moans the entire time, and Daniel's an annoying 8-year-old. It's like Atreus on fucking steroids.
Oh no.
So I wasn't really a huge fan. But God, I really like Alex in this game.
Yeah, she's cool.
And I really like all the other characters as well. You've obviously
Me too. I don't think I've come across a character like interaction that I'm not used to.
No, and there's a couple that I want to talk to you about, because there's one interaction in particular where I went, oh god, they're going Life is Strange with this, and I think you might know which one character I'm talking about. And then they kind of pull back and they go, oh, I'm just messing. I'm like, okay, that was kind of a funny moment where I thought they were going to go all Life is Strange on our RC for a second. And they did.
I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about.
We'll get into it. We'll talk about some of the characters. So you have Alex's brother, who is called Gabe. Is it Gabe?
Gabe.
Yeah, it's Gabe.
Yes.
Who I really like. He is your kind of charming older brother, kind of like, you can tell that they're close, but they've been estranged for a while because they were both foster children. Kyle essentially was they both were put up to the orphanage, and they were separated because her brother went to juvie for a bit, and then they didn't see each other after that, up until now where they're reuniting. And I really like their dynamic. I think they have some really cool moments, and it feels like an actual relationship. It doesn't feel like a lot of times in video games, especially these kind of story video games, when you're supposed to be close to this person, it kind of feels a bit forced.
And they just kind of tell you.
Yeah. Like, they don't really give you a reason. They're just like, you're related, you like each other. Whereas this, you can kind of tell they're kind of cut from the same cloth. You can tell that where their connections, where they get along with each other are. There's a returning character from Before the Storm. I don't know if you noticed, Steph is from Before the Storm. Did not know if you knew
that's
that.
cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I like her.
Yeah, she was the D&D nerd from Before the Storm. You can play D&D with her. Chloe and her play D&D sometimes as an option in Before the Storm.
Oh, that's good.
So Deck 9 was
that
like...
Makes sense. She did come from, like...
Yeah.
You'd said that she was out of state or whatever.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was Deck 9's character. It was a new character for Before the Storm, and they were just like, we like her. Yoink, we're going to take her and move her to our game.
Hippity hoppity, she is our property.
Yeah, basically. So she's really cool. What is the guy's name? Gosh, is his
Park
name?
Ranger man?
Yeah, Park Ranger guy.
Ryan.
I really like Ryan.
He's cool.
Ryan was a character that when he came in, I was like, oh god, he is the male love interest, and I was ready to instantly be like, don't care about you, goodbye, because if you've played Life is Strange before, you know Warren was like the most useless fucking character in that video game that you just don't care about. So I'm like, I was instantly ready.
The whole game getting dunked on.
Yeah, I was instantly ready with him to just be like, oh, Ryan, to be like, ready to write you off instantly, ready to be like, goodbye, see you later.
Yeah.
But I was like, damn, I actually really like you as a character so far.
Yeah, he had a good introduction. I got a kick out of it.
I was just expecting the classic kind of, again, I don't know if it's because of Life Strange being so based on those kind of teen dramas, kind of just being, I was expecting him to kind of be like the jock character where he's a bit of an arsehole and all the girls like him and he'd be like, deal with it, bitch.
Yeah.
But no, he's like this fucking nerdy park ranger who's like got a sense of humor and has got some charm to him. I like him quite a bit.
Yeah.
He's like, cool. As for an update on all the shippers out there that love my shipping service, I don't know where we're going on this journey right now. We don't know. There's 2 romance options. Don't laugh, Kyle. I see you laughing. Don't laugh.
Oh, I'm gonna laugh.
Don't you laugh. You sit there looking at Twitter.
I'm reading Wikipedia, Ethan.
Oh, you're trying to keep...
Actually, this game's wiki.
Oh, you're trying to keep caught up?
Looking at the platforms to kind of just update this. Apparently for the
Switch
computers,
for the PC.
It's for that. I'm like, what are we using? It's on Microsoft Windows and Google Stadia.
Oh, okay, cool.
Which I just learned Google Stadia is still a thing.
It's still going, apparently.
I thought it shut down like a year ago, but
no,
whatever.
It's still going. But no, I really like Ryan quite a bit. Where he, especially in the first episode, he makes a really strong impression. I assume episode 2 is where Steph probably comes in more, so that they, because they're both the love interest. Square kind of hints at that you have 2 options. And it seems like they're not just doing it for the sake of doing it, like in other Life is Strange games, where they're just like, here's the romance character, here they are for 2 seconds, fuck them off they go. It seems like they actually are characters that play a part in the story and kind of feel like well-established characters, which I am quite a big fan of.
Yeah.
Also, one thing I do want to mention before we quickly go into a bit of story was Manhaven's Point Hunter, I don't know about you, is the most Life is Strange setting I think we've ever had.
I really like it.
Yeah.
It's a cool setting. I enjoy it.
Because one of the main reasons I don't like Life is Strange 2 as much as everybody else, I don't hate Life is Strange 2. I think it's still a fine game. I just think it missed the mark, personally, in comparison to the other two. But I think it's because it doesn't have an identity. It's a road trip where every episode changes the location where you're at, whereas I feel like what makes Life is Strange 1 so unique is it's all about Arcadia Bay.
About that was existing in the world and just kind of interacting with it.
Mm-hmm. And Arcadia Bay is a character.
I like Tell Me Why for that reason too.
Yeah. The house in Tell Me Why is a character in itself where they grew up. And in the same way, I feel like this new area in Life is Strange True Colors very much feels like a character, and it feels straight out of Life is Strange. Like, I couldn't think of a more...
Every time I look at something around town, Alex will be like, I feel like there's some sort of pagan sacrifice going to happen here.
Yeah, basically.
Yay.
But yeah, because like, it very much is. It's a rural town. It's just a town in the middle of the wilderness with mountains everywhere. Being a mining town, I'm like, yeah, this is 100% feels like a Life is Strange kind of lo-fi back to like indie kind of setting. It does very much feel like that, and I'm very much a fan of it. So let me talk about episode 1. What did you think of the story of episode 1 so far? Did you like where it was heading? What was happening?
Yeah, it's a really strong setup for where they're gonna go with the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they introduced all the characters. I liked all of them, except for the ones I probably wasn't supposed to like, so they did their job there, too.
Yeah, it still has your very classic Life is Strange, you're supposed to hate these arsehole character. It definitely has that moment. Like, there's very much a moment where, quite literally, it's like, knock, knock, who's there? It's the arsehole of the game, and he comes, and he it literally has that moment.
That's exactly how it went. I was like, oh, man. Getting right into this,
but it's a very it's satisfying enough. Don't worry.
They do a good job at establishing her power, and then like the way that the first impact that has after being like hinted at a few times, the first like meaningful time that it happens was really good at being like, oh, this is maybe not something that's exclusively convenient, like time travel.
Yeah,
you know.
So for to give context for people that haven't been keeping up, and for Kyle, so that he just doesn't sit there blanking, staring into the void.
I have the idea of what the power is.
Yeah. Okay. So she's an empath, right? She's an empath. So she can read people's emotions. She can kind of read their thoughts and emotions, really. As not just emotions, she can read their thoughts and what's going on in their mental processes. She can kind of feel what's happening. And if the emotion is too strong, it affects her, which I think is a really cool thing. Whereas essentially, if someone gets really angry, it doesn't make her feel angry in the same way. It makes her, like, she gets fucking pissed. Like, it's not just like a... Yeah. It's not like, say if someone's getting angry shouting at something. It's not that she echoes the emotion. It's that she channels the emotion into something else. So it's like... There's an example where someone is beating up another character, and because they're super angry, and Alex, in retaliation, because she knows the person's getting beaten up, she gets really angry in retaliation and lashes back at the person that's getting angry, and she can't control it and beats the shit out of someone. Yeah. Another example is if someone's really scared, she then can tap into that fear and then see what they're scared of and also be fucking reactive to that fear and kind of have to deal with the situation in her own terms as well. So there's some cool moments with it. And I remember when I first heard it, I was like I heard some people weren't into the power, but I was instantly into it. Like, when I heard it was empathy, idea. I was like, that's 100% Life is Strange. Because what is Life is Strange? It is a character video game.
Character-driven, hopefully emotional sort of story.
It's a character-driven narrative. And what better way to drive a character forward than giving them access to everybody else's inner monologues and thoughts and feelings. It just makes sense. Especially more than fucking telekinesis. I don't know what the fuck was happening at Life is Strange 2. But like, for them to for them to go from time travel to Boulder go brrr, off it goes. Don't know what they were thinking, but no, I really like it. The power. But no, like, I think this is the strongest first episode that they did. Of a Life is Strange game so far. I think Life is Strange 1 and 2 have bigger impact moments. There is a big impact moment in episode 1. But in Life is Strange, Life is Strange 1, it's very huge scale, and in episode 1 of Life is Strange 2, it happens very early on. So you kind of feel the repercussions. But I think it does a really good job of world building and character building to the point where now they can very much do what they want with these characters and you're not going to have people in episode 3 going, hello, my name is this, I am this role in this video game, and you're like, okay, very cool, let's keep going. Most of the characters.
Episode 4, how do you do? I'm the secret bad guy.
It could still happen.
It could still happen. Who knows?
But no. The one scene, I will say it now, this is slight spoiler for it's not really a slight spoiler, but I'm gonna say if you want to.
You said no spoilers.
Yeah, it's.
You lied.
I don't want to. Yeah, it's not going to ruin the game like Square Enix is trying to ruin the game. But if you want to be shocked by a tiny little thing, then skip. I don't know, like a minute. Mute for a minute. Do whatever you need to. But the one character that I'll mention is basically Kyle because I believe they're both from Mexican heritage, right? Is it what? And either way, they are not white, Kyle. There we go. Let's just say that they are not white.
Cool.
And there's a police officer that comes up to her at some point and is like, because there's been this fight that's broken out, and he's like, we've heard that there's this fight that's going on. We're going to have to bring you in for questioning. Just as the white guy who was also in the fight walked away, and I was like, oh, God, here we go. It's your Life is Strange moment of racist is racist. And I was literally about to cringe. I was like, oh, here we go. And then they do the whole psych, got you. I'm just messing with you.
Yeah.
and then the police officer,
a good one.
And the police officer's like, I'll buy you a drink when you want. And then he just walks away. He's like, thanks for being a good sport, and walks away. Basically just pranked you, bro. And I was like, fuck. Because I thought we were going there. I thought we were 100% going there.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But I liked it because after one of my main problems with Life is Strange 2 is just having people that are just racist for no reason. Which I'm like, doing racism in storytelling is great because people do need to stay informed and need to know that it's not a fucking joke. But the way you don't do it is you don't just have a fucking hillbilly caricature every time come up going, yeehaw, I'm racist.
Yeah. Or if you have one of those, you can't make that the only one.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas this game, I was like, oh, you're going to do it. And then they didn't. And I was like, okay, cool. Subvert my expectations. I'm sure there will be a moment where there's something like that where I even read a text. I think there was a text where a side character was like, all these people moving into us town, I miss the good old days. And someone else was like, here. And then someone else just replied, fuck off or something. And I was like, yeah, there we go. Good shit. Actually,
I went back and read all of like her previous texts.
Yeah.
Like when this started up, I was like, oh man. These are interesting interactions.
That's my favorite part of a Life is Strange game is going through all the texts and stuff like that. Like I love being the snoop, going through the DMs, going like when you open the game up and you're like, oh, there's messages from before the game started. I'm gonna snoop through all these.
Yeah, like when I was like in the first game when I was walking through the halls, it was about the time that I paused and realized that Max had like a journal, and I was like, oh, let me just pause for like 10 minutes and read all of this.
Yeah. And Alex also has a journal, which I read at first and I was like, what the fuck is even this? This equals nervous, this equals
I wish
angry,
they had I don't know why, but they don't let you put the click X to read.
Oh yeah,
for that one.
Luckily though, I think Alex's handwriting is decent enough that I was able to read it.
Yeah.
But I was like, why the fuck is she just writing emotion and whatever? And then when you see a scene where emotions actually impact her and she writes it in a diary, I'm like, oh, now the diary makes sense. I get it now. But no, I don't know what to say other than, to me, this feels like Return to Life. Like this, honestly, after being burned from Life is Strange 2 and its shitty release cycle and the characters not really hitting for me, this feels like a return to Life is Strange. And not in a cheap way.
And probably like the best it's been so far. Yeah,
I 100% agree. Because it's like, I don't think we've ever had something like Life is Strange since it came out, you know? Before the Storm, it was great, but I felt like it was cheating because it was going back to the same setting with some of the same characters and was just expanding on that universe that was already built. Life is Strange 2 kind of fell off with me. Didn't really hit the same. This, I'm like, damn, I'm in.
Yeah, the closest thing we would have had since the first game would have been like, Tell Me Why.
And even then, that's still very much a different story about a family trying to... Which is interesting because Life is Strange 2 is also about family. But I feel like Don't Nod did it better with Tell Me Why. where in and this one is also a story about family as well, because obviously you have a pair of siblings, but it feels fresh and it feels like it's something new, and also it returns to what Life is Strange is, which to me is there's got to be that aspect of mystery, and it can't just be where did the powers come from, you know. In Life is Strange 1, you have the mystery of Arcadia Bay, of what who's Rachel Amber, what's this missing persons case, and what's happening with the tornado. Life is Strange 2, you have fuck all. It's just people are racist, we're running away from them, what happens? And I'm like, that's not really a mystery, that's just running away. And here we are, we're back again with what's the deal with Haven's, what is the point with Haven's Point? Is it Haven's Point or Haven's Peak? I don't remember. Quickly, to the box art! Quickly, look at the spoiler, does it say? No, Haven Springs.
Haven Springs. There we go.
We were wrong both ways. Haven Springs.
I just love how frantically you two were reading your box to try and get the answer.
Yeah, well,
listen, man, why don't you check your box?
Yeah,
I mean, do that real quick.
It's a podcast,
it's nothing.
Video viewers can look at us scrambling and go, "Ha, that's funny." Whereas the audio listeners are like, "Is my podcast dead? Is my internet died? Did I not download it properly?" I'm so sorry, audio listeners. But no, to me, this feels like a return to Life is Strange, the Life is Strange that I love. And I'm like, it was one of those things where I finished episode 1, I was like, I really want to play the next episode, but I can't because I have to go and record this train wreck, and I was kind of sad. But no, I guess, Hunter, would you recommend it? I feel like it's an obvious
pick
question.
This up. It's if you like story games and whatnot, this is a good one to grab.
No, I 100%. I don't know if we'll do. I don't know whether we'll do a review. If the review happens, it'll probably be me, because you're definitely buying Deathloop and I'm not. So it's probably best if I do this one and you do that one.
I'm sure we'll do a spoiler cast.
We'll definitely be doing a spoiler. We'll probably do it pretty quickly as well, because now all the episodes are out at once. I'm sure me and you will both have it done for next week. We could, not making promises, we could have a very timely spoiler cast out if we find a time during the week to talk, obviously. But no, like, with all the episodes already being out and with it being one package, it's an easy recommendation. And I also want to give a massive shout out to them for Deck 9, releasing them all at once. One, for it feeling high quality. Like, it doesn't feel like they're rushing through it or anything. It still feels like these 5 episodes are very much going to feel like if it could have been episodic, but it's not. And also, thank you for keeping... I really like the structure. Keep the 5 episodes. Just because it's not being released.
Yeah, I like that it comes in chapters still, even if you're getting it all at once. It's cool.
It's great for me, because I love binging it. Like, I've always played Life is Strange as a 1 session equals 1 episode. So for me, it's great, because it means, I get to sit down and play 2 and 3 hours of a video game and have a good stop point where I'm like... That's where the story stops. And it usually leaves in a place where I'm like, I wonder what's happening next. But no, definitely recommend it. Go in blind. Don't look at the trailers.
Don't look at anything.
If
you buy a box, do not turn the box over.
Don't turn the box over. As deep and as sexy as that narrator's voice was on the Life is Strange trailers, don't listen to him. He's going to spoil everything. Don't laugh. It was true. Why was his voice so fucking horny? I will never know.
We saw the guy too, didn't we? Like, didn't his voice not look like it matched?
No, but my God, that guy should get out of game development and go into narration, because my God, he has a career in that. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, he has like an ASMR voice if I've ever heard one, dude. Like, I was like, fuck.
Oh, man.
But no, definitely recommend it. True Colors, very good. Good game. Shocker. Life is Strange is good. Shocker
Color me impressed.
There we go. Thank you. So with that out of the way, with mine and Hunter's vocal cords now strained, Kyle is going to explain the entirety of the PlayStation conference, and we're just going to sit here.
Oh, goody.
And shake.
So there was one point in the conference, there was like 10 minutes of shit we already knew, and I got up and walked away.
Yeah, that is true. I was in this.
I left, Deathloop trailer was happening, I came back, Deathloop trailer was still happening.
Yeah, we were both in a call.
Why did we need another Deathloop trailer? The game is out on Tuesday.
We know everything about it now.
They release more trailers than they do review embargoes, man. Like, You could have had the review embargo go out on that day and everyone could know how good the game was, but instead you were like, no, let's have the 68th trailer in the row. Let's go, babe. I saw someone tweet, I don't remember if it was Jeff Grubb or if it was someone else, where they were like, congratulations, Deathloop, for being Was it Imran Khan? Congratulations, Deathloop, for being at every fucking PlayStation showcase. I'm like, yeah, congratulations. You've been in all 7 of them or whatever. Congratulations. But yeah. So, what we're going to do is the PlayStation Showcase happened. I'm going to read a rundown of it, and we're going to give our vibes on what we think, and then after that, we're going to go back in time to the weird live-action thing they did at the start, because there was more to that than meets the eye. We just shitpost. Me and Kyle literally just sat in here chatting shit throughout the whole of it, whereas if we actually paid attention, we would have known everything that was in the showcase, and even some hints to some future titles.
Yeah, but there's no fun in paying attention.
Nah, there isn't. It's fine, though.
Disagree.
We'll live.
Well, you're wrong.
Yeah, we'll live. Anyway, so the showcase started with a game for nerds. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake was announced, being developed by Aspyr, and it's a timed PlayStation 5 exclusive. Now, Hunter, will you be playing this? This feels like, I don't know why I go to you, but I'm like, if any of us are going to play this, it's you. Like, I don't know why.
So, the original version was exclusive to Xbox and, like, developed by BioWare. So I could never play it, but I've always been kind of interested in it.
Oh, this is a BioWare game?
Oh, originally,
It was.
Now I get why people were excited. Now this is making more sense. I thought this was an MMO, dude. Me and Kyle, I was like, oh, Kyle,
no,
Star Wars
that's
MMO?
why... So there's a reason for that confusion, and that's because they made an MMO called Star Wars The Old Republic.
That's just confusing.
Yeah.
I don't like that very much at all.
That's cringe.
So I will be really interested in eventually playing Knights of the Old Republic, because I've always wanted to. I kind of wish I didn't know their big twist.
Oh, I don't. Is it a single-player game?
Yes.
Oh, I'll play this then. Cool. I honestly thought it was a multiplayer thing, like an MMO, so I'm like, okay, I'll play this.
I like how for some reason he thought it was a game that I'd be really interested in, but also thinks it's a multiplayer MMO.
Yeah, because I thought cause it was an old MMO, I thought you'd be like, oh, yeah, fuck it, I'll play it for a little bit. Like, everyone loves their RuneScape chopping trees with lightsabers. Now I understand why people are more hyped. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's not just like a Final Fantasy XIV Realm Reborn situation.
Yeah. It was an actual, like, probably really quality game. I don't know.
I also thought it was an MMO, just being reborn.
Yeah. I just thought they were remaking the MMO because it died or whatever. Because I heard that there was a part of this that never got released. If it was like the second or third, I was like, oh, did they never make that expansion? Where in reality, there's like more games. Who knows? Maybe if this does well, maybe they'll do the rest, and maybe they'll finish the story.
There is a second game.
Maybe they'll remake
Obsidian
that one.
Obsidian made that one.
Maybe they'll remake the second one and make the third one that got cancelled, which I thought was just expansion passes. Oh well. After that, there was a game that was shown called Project Eve, which I was unquote saying, if anyone's playing, this looks like a Hunter kind of game if I've ever seen one.
It does. I went back and looked at this trailer, and it looks super neat.
It does.
Essentially, it's a hack and slash, right?
That. Yeah, it looks like a hack and slash. Its visual like vibe gives me Bayonetta and Nier things at the same time.
Exactly
Ethan and I were saying that.
And the enemy design kind of reminds me of Scarlet Nexus in a way.
I can see that, yeah.
So, I like hack and slashes. I like things that like to get wacky. And that looks like it will be good.
It does.
Yeah, Sony just got tired of Bayonetta 3 not showing up in Nintendo things, so they're like, all right, here's our own Bayonetta.
Here's our Bayonetta 3, and I can guarantee it'll come out before Bayonetta 3. Because you know what's...
Well, we already know more about it than Bayo 3.
Did you see the fucking the latest update on Bayonetta 3?
Someone asked the developers, show it, but aren't allowed.
No, not even that one. The developers were they asked the developers, like the lead designer or whatever. So how's Bayonetta 3 coming along? And they just laughed.
We're getting to the point where Hideki Kamiya is going to start banning people in real life
for
asking this question.
Yeah, honestly.
They're just interviewers going to be like, so how about that Bayonetta?
Apparently, they just laughed and said, "Don't worry about Bayonetta 3." They just like laughed and said, "Don't worry about it." And then when they were like, "When will you see it?" and they were like, "Not up to us," and walked away. I'm like, "That's a great response, dude."
God, when this game finally comes out, I can't wait for the video essay of someone explaining the development history of this game.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be so interesting.
It's like Nintendo were taking a book out of like 2015 Sony, where they announced all their games at once, and they announced Bayonetta 3.
Announced the rest of the
But they forgot the part where
PlayStation
PlayStation then released those games 4 years later. Here we are, like nearly 4 years after the reveal of Bayonetta 3, and we've not seen it again. Like people are acting as if this game should be coming out. Remember, all we've seen is a fucking like Bayonetta's legs and a GIF. Like that's all we've seen. But no, Project Eve did look interesting.
It does look really good.
It very much did remind me of Bayonetta and Nier. That's exactly the words that I used were, it's Bayonetta and Nier. But yeah, that was interesting. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands got shown again, which is the Borderlands spin-off.
Oh, right, Borderlands.
Yeah, which
I forgot what that was.
I said to Kyle, Borderlands still looks like it's from 2011. It has not changed at all. The one thing I did say, though, and I will give them credit for this, is I think them doing a fantasy kind of spin-off is a good idea because Borderlands 1, 2, and 3 all look the same in terms of world design and everything. So having a fantasy kind of world is at least a bit different for people to shoot things in. And I know someone in the comments will say it. If I don't, yes, I know Borderlands 3 had different planets. I played that one. Still the same. Sue me. It's still shooty, shooty, bang, bang, but this time they added a forest as well as fucking ice and sand world. Forspoken got another trailer, or as I like to call it, Is That a Fucking Dragon, the video game, got another trailer. Where they basically showed that it was an isekai.
Yeah. Which I guess is good for the people who couldn't pick up on that beforehand.
Yeah. Because I'm sure all the anime fans fucking shuddered and were like, "Oh god, it's happening in video games now." But yeah, I think it's still an interesting premise because this hasn't happened yet in a game. We haven't really had an isekai video game.
Yeah.
At least not
like unless we have a weird adaptation of like Inuyasha or something to video games, then yeah, we haven't had one of those.
So I feel like this
Genshin Impact exists.
Man, I don't know the story of that game.
I can't
help you.
I don't consider Genshin an isekai because Genshin, they just say that they're from another world. They don't say that it's from Earth or whatever. They weren't. I don't believe that the fucking Genshin character was in an office working a 9 till 5 and then magically they're here.
Do isekais have to exclusively be from Earth?
Yeah, that's
the point. Is that they have to be like something like a regular person.
Yeah, so the whole idea of an isekai
for all
is
we know about
a normal 9 to 5 Andy gets sucked into another world and is now the hero of the world. Yeah, and now every girl in that world wants to fuck them. That's the isekai genre right there. Dude. There you go.
Cool.
It's the power.
Is that what Bleach is about?
Probably. But no, for
that one's a bit different.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's different spins on it. Like Shield Hero was the exact opposite, where everyone hated him instead of liked him. Yeah.
Sword Art Online was that, but sucked into a video game.
Yeah. To be fair, they love doing the video game aesthetic, dude. They love doing that shit where it's like you go into another world and they have levels and moves. I'm like, okay, someone just wants to do real life video game. Okay, I see. But anyway, let's talk about Forspoken. The one thing that I keep looking at Forspoken and being like, wow, at is the movement.
That's what I'm saying. It looks real fun to move around in that game.
Like, I feel like the story might be a bit... The story could be generic. The game, like, the combat, I'm like, it looks fine, but it kind of looks like it's just going to be flashy one-button thing, like most modern Square Enix games.
The good old Ethan Monkey Brain special.
I love it, dude. It's great fun. Whilst that's 3 squares in a triangle, cool. That's all I need. But the movement looks really cool. And to be fair, this game has got some good writers on it.
Yeah, I mean, every little bit of dialogue they had in this one, I'm like, you know what? Fair enough.
I mean, some of it's cringe shit, but I was like, it's again... it's a JRPG. It's a Square JRPG. They always have cringy dialogue in them. Like, what's new here? You know, like,
like I had a little chuckle when the bracelet talked to her. I was like, fun.
Yeah. But no, it's written by a load of people, but I know two of the big ones that people keep mentioning are Gary Whitta and Amy Hennig are two of the writers on this game. Which, if you didn't know, Gary Whitta did Rogue One, and that's the film. They did not make a game on Rogue One, don't worry. And then Amy Hennig, best known for that little indie game called Uncharted. Yeah. So probably in good hands. But no, I think Forspoken looks pretty good. It's coming out spring, apparently. I still think there's a chance that Final Fantasy sneaks in the autumn, guys. I think that's still a chance. I think 16's out next autumn. I genuinely am willing to place a bet on that. I think it'll happen. But we'll get
to Suicide Pact on the draft next year.
Oh no, I'm taking God of War and being very happy that game is definitely coming out next year, but we'll get to that. After Forspoken was a Ubisoft game that no one cares about, so I'm not even going to mention it.
Sounds good.
It got leaked, but the actual reveal for Alan Wake Remastered happened. Again, as I'd like to call it, this is definitely a hunter game.
Control's really cool, and I liked Remedy in that, so their other game that I never had the chance to play, I'm glad I'll have the chance to play it now. Yeah. Not when it comes out, though, because it's like 3 days before Metroid.
Oh, well, that's a shame. I'd say I'd pick it up, but I'd be a liar.
I don't have a PS5.
It's on PS4, don't worry. But
oh, goody.
You're not using that as an excuse. You'll probably also be playing Metroid.
I'll probably be playing Mario Party whenever that comes out.
That's like 3
or
weeks
maybe
after.
I'll be at the backlog, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll finally start playing Chris Tales.
Who knows?
You should do
maybe.
That. It's a good game.
So yeah, Alan Wake, pretty cool. And then the funniest announcement of the showcase, I fucking cried with laughter. GTA 5 got a trailer where they showed the game running on PS5, where it looked the exact same as the PS4, and said that it was delayed to March because apparently Rockstar can't make the same fucking game they've made for the past 2 console generations again. That's hilarious.
Come on. That could have been the Cyberpunk classic, like, Twitter image instead of taking up space in a showcase.
It just made me laugh, because even as someone who's a fan of GTA 5 and likes GTA 5 a lot, I watched that trailer and even I went, what the fuck is this? It looks the same. There's no difference. There's no point in this being in the show. The funny thing that I like to point out is that they made a promise as well that for every month until the game comes out, they'd give everybody on GTA Online $1 million. So now they've now just lost money because they've just given everybody an additional fucking $3 million GTA Online dollars by delaying it.
Oh, I mean.
So,
yeah.
Stay losing, I guess.
I mean, they can give them that, made up money and then just change their made up prices.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? They won't. It's GTA. It's too old at this point. So that was that one. And then after that,
maybe inflation affects GTA. The GTA.
No, I didn't mean
also.
Change the price of the game. I meant change like the prices in game for things you need to buy with the fake money.
Oh no, they won't do that because they've already got enough whales spending money that they're just like, yeah, let the free peasants have an extra $3 million. We'll wait for the whales buying the 50 million shark cards every month. Then. By the way, this is the section that we were talking about, starting with Grand Theft Auto. This is the section that Cal was talking about where fuck all, like everything we already knew about happened.
The reruns.
I will give a fair play to Ghostwire. We hadn't seen proper gameplay of Ghostwire, like properly until now.
Yeah.
So this was interesting.
I hadn't seen it for like a year, so it was cool to at least get proof that it still exists.
I don't know, like, I wasn't probably going to get this game in the first place. I don't know how you guys felt about the gameplay. I felt mixed on it, like it didn't sell me any more than I thought it would. What did you guys think of the gameplay reveal?
I mean, it looks interesting enough to me. Like, there was nothing that seemed especially rough about it, so, I'll probably look into it, because it's a decent idea. It's just fighting a bunch of ghosty things in Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a fun time. My favorite part of this trailer was the narrator, who was doing his best job to sound tonally similar to Aku from Samurai Jack.
And it was an interesting one. I also think it was like when we first heard of Ghostwire, we thought it'd be like a horror thing, and then we saw the character doing fucking kung fu to a ghost, and we were like, okay, maybe it's not a horror thing. This one kind of brought back the kind of creepiest stuff to it. Like, it's not, I'm not going to go out and go, scary horror game, everyone run for the hills. But there definitely were, like, the creepy monsters that were kind of, like, fucking, like, very quickly moving up to you and trying to get to you. So I was like, it felt like there was a bit more of the suspense there than I initially thought it was.
Even if it looks different, it is easy to see the evil within DNA inside of how they go about designing the monsters and stuff.
It definitely looked more horror-driven than I initially thought. I just thought it'd be a flatter action game, but it does seem it does have the creepier elements to it. We'll see, I guess, when it comes out. In spring 2022. Spring 2022, busy fucking time for video games. Hope you've got your calendars.
So is February.
Yeah. Then after that, we got Guardians of the Galaxy, which...
all the same shit we saw at E3.
I don't know why I put it on my fantasy draft, to be honest. I feel like that was just because I wanted a game. That'll be the biggest 75 that I see on the fucking list. It's fine. I don't see why it was here. Especially when this conference later was already so heavily Marvel leaning. I don't know why they decided to show this fucker again. Then after that, we got the Vampire Masquerade Blood Hunt thing, the Battle Royale, where Hunter was like, what, it's a Battle Royale? And I was like, yeah, they're doing a Battle Royale.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Don't worry, it's fine. Because after that, they showed another trailer for everyone's favourite game that isn't real, and it's just trailers. Deathloop!
It's just trailers.
Is everyone excited for Deathloop?
Absolutely.
Despite their worst intentions, yes, I still think I'll enjoy this game.
I think I'd enjoy it. I just don't know if I would like to admit that I'd enjoy it at this point, because I'm like, you're trying too hard.
There is something about the level of spite that would drive me to not want to play it, too. I understand.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, Deathloop is just one of those games where I feel like the more we saw, the less I was interested in the premise.
Yeah, I was 100% the same. I 100% feel the exact same way. Where the first trailer I saw, I was like, getting that day one, that looks sick. Then the second trailer, I was like, okay, yeah, it still looks pretty cool. I think I'm still into it. Then the third trailer, I was like, okay, I don't know if I like this anymore. Stop showing trailers. And then they showed another 17 trailers, and now at this point, I'm like... Just make it stop. Release the game so that I can fucking
The
breathe.
one that came out back at, towards the start of the year, when it would have been the last one if it had released when they said it was going to.
Yeah.
That was, the perfect one to just not have anymore after. They had a cool song, they had the perfect vibe was captured, and then they had a state of play for it.
Yeah. I just, don't get it. But hopefully it's good. We'll find out next week on HGO or on Monday on the same day as this episode goes out for all the outlets that got review copies. Because shocker, we didn't. Then
Maybe next time.
Then Kid Amnesia by Radiohead, whatever the fuck that is, was announced.
Isn't that the Mario Odyssey game?
No, this is Tchia, the one that was after.
This was the.
Well,
I
tried.
The one
then I don't know what this one was.
Tchia.
It was the other horror-looking game.
Yeah, it looked...
Oh, yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's.
I remember that. Yeah.
Thankfully not that, so I can wait to see more of this and possibly be intrigued.
I
remember that comment.
Oh, it's apparently it's a virtual exhibition of an album. Don't get too excited. That's what that is, apparently.
A virtual exhibition of an album.
Yeah, whatever the fuck that means. But no, Tchia...
Those are just words.
Yeah.
Those are just words.
It's ray tracing all over again.
Oh, goody.
No, the Breath of the Wild Mario Odyssey thing was called Tchia, which was a game inspired by New Caledonia. It was the only indie game of the show. And it launches exclusively on PS4, PS5, and Epic Games Store in 2022. It did look interesting, but I was at the point of the show where I was fucking losing my will to live. That was this. Like if this had showed up in the first couple of games, I probably would have been like, oh, this looks super cute. This is a nice little indie game. Whereas it just been after back to back, move the fuck on. I want to see God of War.
Yeah, because like the rerun bit up until Chio was like 10 minutes, 10 or 12 minutes.
Yeah, and it just
of just shit we already knew, and also kid amnesia apparently.
Yeah, and then and Chia shows up. I'm like, this is cool. It looks like Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey, little indie game. Very cool. Looks interesting. But at the same time, I was also like, where's God of War? Where's the fucking where's the goods? Move on. So I was kind of sick on it. Yeah. So maybe I should watch that trailer again and get a new opinion on it. But I'm sure it'll be a good game. And then after that, to end the fucking mediocre section, we got the Uncharted. What the fuck is this called? The Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection.
Oh, jeez.
Which
includes...
Is
that just for
Lost Legacy?
It could even throw the other ones in there to complete the package.
No.
The fuck?
Yeah, it's just for Lost Legacy. They're being remastered for PS5 and PC. That's why
this is the package that you would have thought you had had when Lost Legacy was supposed to be the DLC.
Yeah. I don't know why it's called Legacy of Thieves either, to be honest. Like,
well, because you play as Chloe in the other game, so there's two thieves.
Yeah, but where's the legacy come from?
I don't know. People think Uncharted is special.
Well, no, right. Okay, I will flat out say it. The Legacy of Thieves collection, congratulations, includes my two favourite Uncharted games. So well done, Naughty Dog. You've done a collection of the two good ones, in my opinion. Because I really like those two. But at the same time, who the fuck was asking for this? Every other PS4 game got a PS5 patch. Even Last of Us Part 2, you're not making me buy The Last of Us 2 again. I can just boot it up on PS5 and it runs at 60 FPS. Why do I have to fucking buy this? There's no reason.
They did ask you to buy Ghost of Tsushima again, though.
Yeah, and I didn't. I stood my ground. Not yet, anyway, because there's games to be buying. Maybe in the drought. I'll be like, ooh, I'm ready to go back to Tsushima and see if I don't die of boredom this time. Let's find out. So there we go. And then, after that was the end of the normie section. And then Herman Holst comes onto the stage and he's like, here at PlayStation Studios, we strive ourselves on Insomniac releasing video games and everyone else making one every half a decade. Let's move on to some games. And then Insomniac shows up, Marvel logo shows up, and everyone's like, oh boy, it's Spider-Man. And then no, it wasn't. It was Wolverine for PS5, which is being made by the Miles Morales team. Which looks cool. I mean, it's just a fucking CG trailer, so I can't really say much about it. But
I mean, Wolverine's cool.
What kind of game do you think this will be, guys?
So, I was chatting with my brothers about this the other day, and, like, for whatever reason, they jumped to it being just another superhero sandbox game. And I was like, I don't think they'll do that. That doesn't make much sense. And
I didn't.
Wolverine
doesn't have
the kind of skill set that would make for fun traversal. Eventually, one of them said something about making a roguelike for Wolverine, and I thought that would be really cool. I don't think that's necessarily what they're doing, but it'd be cool.
I think it could be very easy for them to do an open world kind of Wolverine. Like the thing about an open world Wolverine game to me is how to do traversal. Yeah.
It'd be easy enough for them to be like motorcycle and fast travel.
My bet is it's the Miles Morales team, so it's the smallest team of the three teams that we currently know of that are Insomniac, right? My guess is that this is a linear story action adventure game in the vein of your, not with the same gameplay, but in your vein of your Uncharted length video game of story. That's what I think it'll be. I think it'll be a smaller scale thing than I think Spider-Man 2 will be a bigger project than I think Wolverine will be, personally.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But, so there you go. No date, no year on that one. We've literally just started working on it 9 months ago because we've only just released Miles Morales Chill. So that was that. Then they showed Gran Turismo 7, which is indeed a racing game.
Dude, screw them for using cool organ music to set the ambiance before they showed us the cars. Literally. I was looking away, and then I
the amount of people that were like, "Did they buy Castlevania?" No, damn it, moving on.
Oh, nope, just cars.
To be fair, though, it looks nice. It's a good-looking game. To be fair,
it does look good, but
it sure looks like I can drive cars.
I sure don't care about driving cars.
One thing that I find interesting is the trailer did not say this at the end, but they confirmed it on the blog that game is out in March. So for some reason, they did not put a date on the trailer, even though they gave it a month. So that one's out in March 2022. Spider-Man 2 was announced in the
not Infamous.
Yeah, not Infamous. We'll get to Infamous though in a second. In the no shit Sherlock release calendar of course they're making another Spider-Man game. I think they all had us questioning it in the first half when they announced Wolverine.
Us in the first half. Yeah.
Well, Insomniac, they had 4 PlayStation Studios reveals today and this day, and 2 of them were Insomniac. Where the fuck are the other 19 studios? Genuinely, where are they? Yeah, do they just sit on their asses going, look at Insomniac pull the weight, let's go. But no. Spider-Man 2, shockingly, has 2 Spider-Men in it. I still think they missed opportunity to call it Spider-Man, to be honest. I think that was a missed opportunity.
Spider-Man.
And Hunter, you know how I said I thought it was 2 characters speaking, not just Venom? I was correct, because everyone was on the long lines that the character speaking in the first half of the trailer was Kraven the Hunter. And then it was cool. Venom. So people are thinking that one of the plot threads is that Kraven the Hunter, trying to find the challenge to slay the biggest monster,
I was
trying to kill Venom.
Now that I think about the words that I was catching, because I never rewatched the trailer, I was still just kind of... But a couple of the words I got was like, could I find the one that could challenge me and please...
As soon as
whatever. So I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense, Kraven.
As soon as I saw someone on the internet say, that's probably Kraven, I was like... Oh, 100. That is Kraven. Yeah, 100%. Like, that's it. Because it's like he's talking about, like you say, someone worthy of challenging him and defeating him. He's been looking for a worthwhile opponent. He's talking about hunting prey, and I'm like, that's Venom is responding to Kraven saying we might be the challenge. So I think that's going to be an interesting dynamic, is having Kraven hunting down Venom, who we assume. Slight
that would be
spoiler.
fun too, because like he's a third party separate from Miles and Spider-Man and Venom.
Yeah, and also it'll be an interesting take on Venom if they do what everyone thinks they're doing, which I hope they do. That's going to be a very crazy fucking video game though, because you assume that if that Venom is who that Venom is, then not only is this a game that will have Kraven and Venom in it, it might also have Goblin. So yeah, big Spider-Man game.
Wacky.
I think it'll be a big one, and I'm looking forward to it. I also really like the black logo. It's been a while since we've seen it. I think it's Spider-Man 3 just gives it a bad rep, so it's cool to see it back. And I really hope that, because obviously I feel like Venom has to attach to Peter at some point to get the kind of look that Venom always has, because he kind of mocks Peter's suit. I really hope that they don't do the fucking dance number from Spider-Man 3. That'd be great.
I don't think they will. It's
There's
not
a part
like
of me that feels like, what if they did do it just to fucking meme it? Like, what if they did do it?
Put some dirt in your eye.
I mean, if they do it in like a good way, like what Into the Spider-Verse did with it, then it could work.
Here's my prediction, right? Here's my prediction. Obviously, everyone's expecting the symbiote to attach to Peter so that he gets his kind of look. Here's my prediction: it attaches to Miles, not Peter.
I was about to say that, like, as you were going there, I'm like, it'd be funny if he attached to Miles and he named himself after his powers.
Yeah,
since he calls that the Venom power.
Yeah, I 100% wouldn't be surprised, because Insomniac likes to do everything different, right? They're doing their Spider-Man story different to how everyone else has kind of told it. So I would not be shocked if the symbiote attaches to Miles and Miles has to go through the dealing of trying to get the fucking thing off of him and dealing with the symbiote. I think that'll be an interesting story. In fact, now I want that to happen, Sony, and if it doesn't, I'll be disappointed.
Especially because, like, after the events of his own game, he might be a bit emotionally vulnerable.
Exactly. And then ending it with the game that everyone knew was in this fucking conference, the worst kept secret ever. God of War Ragnarok, finally called God of War Ragnarok, got its first trailer. And I don't know about you guys. I've watched this trailer a couple of times now, just because I really enjoyed. This to me seemed like a launch trailer, not even a reveal trailer. This to me, especially with how much gameplay they showed, screamed like this game's basically done. Was what was being screamed to me because most times when you see a game for the first time and you see gameplay, it's a vertical slice, right? You usually see a mission or a certain thing where they show you it. And they're like, oh, cool, this game looks great. Can't wait to see it in 3 years when you actually build the rest of it up to this quality. Whereas God of War showed so many different scenes and places where I'm like, this game feels like it. Like they say it, they still have it on the blog that this game's coming out next year. I kind of believe them with what we saw today.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely think that this game's coming out next year.
It seems like it will. I can't wait to offer this suicide pact and eat the points for it.
But no, like, what do we have? What can I say except it looks like God of War and it looks fucking great. Like, that's all I can say.
I mean, if you were stupid, you could complain about the reused animations.
Why?
But you're not stupid, so you're not going to.
Can I just say I hate that?
That's Twitter's job.
Yeah, it's so dumb. Like, really? You're gonna get more bent out of shape about using this animation from this game that only came out a couple years ago instead of reasonable work hours?
Isn't that the point, though? Like,
yeah.
Isn't that like they spend billions?
If it
of
took 2
on...
more years to make and they didn't have and the animations weren't reused, let me tell you something. They probably wouldn't realize that Kratos hopped into the boat a different way anyway, and they'd be complaining about how long it took.
Yeah, but like. To me, it doesn't make sense. But it's like, yeah, the game got rebooted, so brand new graphics engine, brand new style. When you're doing a direct sequel, why the fuck would you go, right, guys, scrap it all, let's build it all up from the ground again so we can do another game where he has the axe and the fucking blades? I'm like, of course you build on it. You don't spend that much money on a video game and then go, right, guys, fucking burn the bridge, let's start again. It's like people complaining about Breath of the Wild 2 and going, wait, what? You didn't burn the whole fucking thing again and rebuild it all so you can do a direct sequel that's on the same map? This is bullshit. Like,
stupid.
It's especially stupid when the original God of War is one of, if not the best looking game on PS4. Why the fuck would you restart?
Honestly, no.
And it's a cross-gen game. Why the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I admit, Horizon does look like a bigger glow up, but I also think Horizon was the one that would would have a better glow up anyway. Personally, with
there was more distance between Horizon and now too.
Yeah, and also Horizon's art style had a bigger leap to had more places to go. God of War is God of War, but it looks great, and I can't wait to play it next year. Hopefully, it comes out next year. I think it will. So that's that. Let's quickly talk about the rumors and the teasers real quick, because I did want to bring this up. I'll put it as a timestamp, but it might not go for that long. Obviously, we had the live action thing that me and Kyle were just screaming. I was screaming cringe. Kyle was laughing, and we weren't.
So, in other words, an average Thursday for both of us.
Yeah, and we weren't really paying attention. But I don't know if you watched it, Hunter. Did you even watch it?
No. I
okay,
didn't know about this until you talked about it.
Yeah,
and
essentially, they kind of played us, because I think PlayStation knew that everyone would just go cringe, not watching, and had all of the teasers and shit in there. So, I wanted to go over a couple of my favorites, and I also wanted to very quickly... Oh, there we go. Sorry, the webcam just froze for a second there. Video users, I'm so sorry. I pressed the wrong button. But there were a couple of things that were interesting. So one that I liked that no one noticed until afterwards was there was the room with for some reason the whole thing was about chess, right? And there was this chessboard, and there was this guy with a crown being like, look at me, I've got the Victory Royale crown, you aren't taking it from me. But what no one noticed, because everyone was just laughing at the cringe, was in the background was the key art for the new God of War game. Was just on there, full blown on the wall, just sitting there with Ultra Trace and everything. And I was like, damn, that's funny. Nathan Drake and Chloe were in the background on a wall in the exact same art style as the new art for the Legacy of Bollocks collection that's coming out.
See, the thing is, when we were watching this, I had noticed, like, some of this stuff happening in the background, but I just thought it was like Sony stroking its own ego.
Yeah, same. I didn't realize that it was all games on PS5. Like Pac-Man was there, but it was referencing the Pac-Man PS5 game that came out, like the Namco whatever thing.
And like I had seen that God of War artwork on the wall, and
you saw that? You should have mentioned that.
I don't know anything about new God of War, so I'm just like, oh, yeah, it's Kratos. That's
for all
neat.
Kyle knew, it could have been an image from the last game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know any better. I don't pay attention to God of War.
But there was basically every reference that was in there was a reference to a PS5 game, or it wasn't, in a way. Let's get into it. So you had your stuff from your first party. So you had your Horizon, you had your God of War, stuff that was known about. There was third-party stuff that wasn't necessarily PlayStation related, but was on there. For example, there was a graffiti art of Paimon at some point, which is obviously there was just a Paimon just sitting there in the background. There was like Pac-Man and stuff like that. Games that have been released. There was teasers to games that hadn't been released, like God of War. There were some that were there with no reason or explanation, and I think they're interesting. And I feel like Cal deserves some points on his predictions for this, because it might lead into stuff. So the first one is, there was Crash-related ones. There was two on the helicopter. There were 2 Crash logos, and one of them was for the Wumpa League video game that doesn't exist. Definitely got cancelled. It's fucking real. It's the worst kept secret ever. I feel like everyone knows that this game exists, and even Crash Bandicoot at this point is like, yeah, it fucking exists. Would like, even if we killed Toys for Bob, they made this before they died, and we're just holding on to it before we release the corpse. But it's real, and from what I've heard,
interesting analogy.
Yeah, and from what it's real, and from what I've heard, it's interesting. From the little bits and pieces I've been told, it's a game. You guys, you might like it, you might hate it.
It's a game.
All I will say is it's definitely multiplayer, and we'll see.
Crash Bandicoot Battle Royale.
We'll see how it. We'll see how
wait.
it goes. I'm not saying I'm not saying jack shit. I don't want the cease and desist.
Yo, Crash Bash 2. Yeah.
I don't want the cease and desist.
Did they send you a Wumpa Fruit pinata, Ethan?
Yes, here it is. No.
Crash Boom Bang in HD, finally. We get the return of that mystery character.
Yeah.
That was introduced in only that game.
Yeah, I was trying to find a list of all the Easter eggs. So I'm gonna.
Was there a cardboard box?
There wasn't a cardboard box.
Shoot.
I am so sorry.
No PlayStation All-Stars for you.
That's not what I was referencing.
But yeah, they've done this before. There's also like there was the Crash 4 leak in a PlayStation trailer where Capunoir was in there 6 months before Crash 4 got released, and everyone was like, "Who the fuck's the new mask? We know there's a new game now." But literally, the Crash 4, the Crash logo was one of them. And there was only 3 that were teasing games that weren't announced in that showcase if they weren't already. And I can't believe that Kyle guessed the other fucking 2. The first one was Infamous. There was a picture of art of Cole from Infamous. And the second one was the fucking Sly Cooper logo. And because the rest of them were PS5 related, it's only safe to assume that they were teasers of what's to come, especially as Herman Hulst said that they wanted to honor the classic library of PlayStation and provide new stuff. So, unless they just really wanted to fuck with Sly and Infamous fans and be like, every other reference is a brand new PS5 game.
First time.
You guys stay quiet.
Like, look at these old games. Haha, now they only make Ghost of Tsushima.
But yeah, I'm just looking here. Yeah, there was the Nathan Drake and thingy. There's the Sly Cooper one. Is there any ones that I thought were cool that I missed? No, can't really think of one. Was Helldivers a PlayStation game?
Was it an exclusive?
I don't know if it was exclusive or not. It was exclusive.
Really?
On PC though as well.
Nah.
Sony own it. Helldivers is another one that was also on there, so maybe that's also
I
making
didn't
a comeback.
realize they owned
But no, I just thought I wanted to mention it because Kyle kind of guessed it. There's been leaks as well. There's been rumors that a new Sly game and a new Infamous game are in the works. And I think it's all too weird that the both of them showed up in that. I think it's weird for people.
That's what Abandoned really is.
Yeah. Well, it's a Sly Cooper game. Fuck.
Oh man.
But no, I do think it's exceptionally weird for leakers to go straight for two specific franchises and then Sony to put references to those two in specific. I thought that was kind of interesting. Also, apparently in the Ghost of Tsushima DLC, there's more Sly Cooper references in that DLC. In the Iki Island expansion, there's some more Sly stuff.
Too bad I'll never see them.
Truly tragic. Unless they gave Jin a Sly Cooper Kane katana, I'm not interested.
Same.
That'd be pretty sick. You should do that in Ghost of Tsushima 2, Sucker Punch, just saying.
Ghost of Tsushima.
But hey, so there you go. Hunter, it's up to you. We're already at like an hour and 16. Do you want to talk about Dead Space? Or are we holding them? Are we holding people on again? It's up to you.
I mean, I guess we can wait.
I mean,
save it for a rainy day.
When will this rainy day be, though? That's the real question. It's like we've been saying.
Oh, right. September is the month of video games. This rainy day will be in like 2 months when I don't remember it anymore. I can talk about it real quick.
Do it now.
Yeah, alright.
You know, our audience retention's already fucking down. It's fine. Like, if you're listening to this, you really care about Hunter's opinions on Dead Space. You know what I'm saying? So... Okay, so
we appreciate you.
Hey, if you make it past the hour mark, yeah, you're a real one. Thank you. And please stick to the end just so the retention's even better. So, Hunter, you've been playing Dead Space.
Yes, I played it last weekend. And you know what? Dead Space eats the lunch of most modern horror games as far as tension goes.
Ooh.
There was more tension in this game in the first, 30 minutes than there was in all of Resident Evil 8.
Really?
Yes, really.
Nice.
It's the way they build up the atmosphere is just really cool. You know, in space, no one can hear you scream. So, it's an old, not old, but it's this kind of destroyed ship is your setting for most of the game. Isaac is an engineer out of his depth. What else do we got here? The way that when the game came out, it was after, Resident Evil and other horror games had trained you to aim for the head to kill your opposition all the time. It's not how you kill the necromorphs. You have to kill them by, shooting away their limbs, which is really cool. I quite enjoyed that. Also, necromorph is a really cool name for a monster.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if you saw, because obviously they're doing the whole Dead Space remake thing. I don't know if you heard of it. There's this little indie team working on it. I think.
The chatter about that is what gave me.
But I don't know if you saw the small gameplay of you talking about the dismemberment of the limbs and stuff like that. They showed in the very early dev of them doing that in the remake, and it was fucking disgusting, by the way. I just want to say that. You can shoot any part of the body and the flesh just kind of comes off and you can see all the guts and the shit inside. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, and it's cool because for the most part the game still holds up. Visually it still is fine. Mm-hmm. It was a PS3 game, but I think that because it's this kind of dingy spaceship horror game, it's not really hurting as much as going back to play your bland brown shooter game. It works more to the effect, similar to how old Silent Hill games aren't really hurt by the fact that they're rustic PS1 look. But yeah, but I do think that the upgraded visuals will be cool because Dead Space is filled with body horror. Oftentimes you'll just see something they have a specific necromorph that's this weird flesh bat that will come in and do something to the bodies, just regular dead bodies, and then change them into the monsters. And that'll be really cool to watch happen again in modern visuals.
No, does the game hold up controls wise?
Yeah, you oftentimes talk about how Resident Evil 4's controls are jank, and I feel this game, This game is better than that because it doesn't stop you in place to shoot. You actually have full, like, motion. It's not tanky. It still does a good job at making things claustrophobic because of the way they position the camera without making it feel like it's hurting your ability to do things. Really the only thing that doesn't hold up that much is there's a couple of environmental one-shot deaths in the middle of the game that aren't great. like there was one that kept getting me, and the game I think eventually gave me like a pity health pack because I guess it thought that I was getting killed by the monsters in the room, but it was just the thing. I'm like, this won't save me from that. And then there's this other thing. In like chapter 5, you have to like go use the gun on the spaceship to shoot away some asteroids that are going to blow the spaceship up if it takes too much damage. That gun does not control well at all. I would have the laser trained right on the rock and it would miss all the time. I had to redo that part more times than I would have liked. Mm-hmm. So if they could just make that function better, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no. I don't know. I don't know if I have any other questions.
It's good at messing with you, like, psychologically in a way, too, because, you know, it uses jump scares, but it doesn't use them every time you think they would. And I think it's better for that, because oftentimes, like, sometimes you'll enter a room and you'll see, like, one of the necromorphs at the end of the hall. And they'll just jump into a vent. They won't, like, turn at you and scream or charge you or anything. They'll just leave. So, or, like, there was one time I was walking towards a door, pushed the thing to unlock it, and the lights, like, flickered and whatnot, so I, like, naturally backed up from the door, because, a monster coming. No monster ever came, it was just messing with you. I thought that's good. There's kind of a random, not the way it's structured, but there is a bit of a procedurally generated thing to how the things will react to, so you can't always plan for something, even if it was what happened the previous time you played.
But no.
I think that just about covers it, though. I'll be interested to look at the other two, because I never played 2 or 3, even though I hear 3's bad, but if I played the other one,
I don't remember
probably...
if people hate 3 because it's bad or because of all the microtransactions that were in it. I don't know what the deal is. All I remember was there was like it had really egregious microtransactions in Dead Space 3.
Yeah, I'll probably give it a look anyway if I still play 2. Anyhow, I'll be interested to do that as I wait for the remake, because yeah, this game really good still.
Well, there you go. Awesome to hear. And hey, it's nice to also find out that an old game from the PS3 generation hasn't aged like ass. It's always good to hear that, because it is one of the 5. So many mid-generation Xbox 360 and PS3 games look like such ass, dude. So and just like control like ass. So it's also good to hear. But hey, glad you've been enjoying it. Very quickly, I found the thread of all the references. So.
Oh my god.
I found it. I went by going to the person that leaked the Sly Cooper thing a couple of months ago, and he's been retweeting about it because, of course, he's getting cocky, the little shit. Anyway, all the references. Sly Cooper logo, Paimon graffiti on a wall, Final Fantasy VII logo painted on the wall in a frame. There's a crab on a wall from a PS3 3 reveal that was just randomly there. That was just a fun little thing. Pac-Man. There was a sign in the train station saying Valisphere, which is the name of the new world in Final Fantasy 16. Cool. There's a poster of Aloy from a Horizon Zero Dawn in a Fall Guys as a Fall Guys costume, so that's probably coming to Fall Guys.
Oh yay!
That is legitimate a thing. So much so, I am saving that right now as a JPEG, so that when the podcast is over, I am sending that to you because it's quite funny. There's a reference to the Xenoglyph collectibles in Returnal on a wall. There's an image of the karma meter from Infamous, which is an image of Cole looking very nice, which is another thing that Kyle got right.
Hell yeah.
God of War or Ragnarok's cover art was on the wall that literally only Kyle noticed, and he hadn't played God of War, so he didn't know it was new.
You're welcome.
There are some new glyphs on the wall that people are thinking is related to Guerrilla Games' multiplayer project, but are unsure. There's a random PS3 avatar from a frog on a wall that's just randomly on a wall somewhere. The Uncharted Legacy Collection, Nathan Drake and Chloe were on a wall. There's a Sonic ring on a stop sign, which is probably a reference to that Sonic, the new Sonic game that's coming out next year. There's a Bright Falls Easter egg from Alan Wake Remastered. That's the kind of shit that we're talking about here. Oh, also interesting. The Final Fantasy that'd be crazy if true. I don't believe it, but that'd be crazy if true. The Final Fantasy 16 reference in the train station has the time of the train arriving as 6:06:16. So keep an eye out for the 16th of June, because fuck me, that game's not coming out then. But if it did, that'd be creepy as fuck.
That'd be fun.
And then finally, there's silhouettes. This is one for Kyle, because we know he loved and definitely finished Dragon Quest XI.
Yeah.
there are
forgot about that game.
Yeah, there are silhouettes of a slime and 5 unknown characters who people think might be sprites / references for the new Dragon Quest game that's coming soonish. So yeah, plenty of references. All to PS5
game
games.
To show up at more video game conferences than Deathloop.
Yeah.
Dragon Quest XI. Yeah.
So they were all recent PS5 games or random references to arbitrary things like E3 memes or a fucking PlayStation 3 icon. So I think it's safe to say that Kyle's predicted Sony's first party lineup completely. And the only two other games are Infamous and Uncharted. So there you go.
It's what I do.
Well done, Kyle. Good job.
Because if anything, I care a lot about Sony.
Hey, at least you'll play
My
Sly.
favorite
At least
company.
you'll play Sly if that comes
I will
out.
play Sly.
Yeah.
Because I have been itching for a new Sly game since I finished Sly 3, and I never owned a PS3.
Sly 4 just sits there and weeps.
Yep. And Kevin Miller's your best friend.
He is.
Why wasn't he here on the podcast to talk all about the PlayStation? We could have.
Oh, he is here. Would it be funny if he just came out that door right now?
That'd be
the biggest payoff to the podcast.
That'd be so stupid.
He's been in there since episode 1, guys. Maybe one day we'll let him out the closet. That's the new bit. Kevin Miller is locked in your closet, and maybe one day we'll let him out. But hey,
as soon as Sony gives us a new Sly game,
just release it.
They let Sly out of Egypt. I let Kevin Miller out of my closet.
Trade off. You give me Sly 5. I let the voice actor out of my closet.
I give you his voice actor back.
That sounds like a plan. But no, with that's been our show, everybody. So as always, our links are on screen right now. You can go and follow us on social media and keep up to date with everything that we do on our personal accounts and stuff like that. But if you don't want to do that and just want to keep up to date with everything Hot Gamers Only, you can go to @HotGamersOnly on Twitter for updates on everything that we do, or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/HotGamersOnly. And hey, if you want to listen on your favorite podcast service instead of looking at our stupid faces, you can go to the link tree in the description or search for Hot Gamers Only on your favorite podcast services such as Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And yeah, with that, that's been our show. We're done. We somehow got an hour and a half out of Life is Strange and Sony. Thank you.
Go team.
Good job, everybody. Next week, Hunter will have played Deathloop. I may have played Deathloop. And Kyle may have played a video game. We'll find out. I don't know. He's on a video game podcast.
That's a big ask.
He's on a video game podcast and hasn't played one in the
Kyle to
past
start
2
going and doing like random other forms of games, like just like I don't know, some kind of playground game like hopscotch, and review that for us.
Actually, this past week, Jacob and I did play. I played a Madden game for the first time in my life.
And with that, that's been our show. We don't talk about normal trash on this podcast. No,
my review was that it was terrible.
Oh, cool! Even better.
And I never want to do it again.
Didn't have to even cut you off. That's good. Next you'll be hopping in the battle bus or whatever, dude. Jamming on those haters.
No.
But no, that's been our show, everybody. Thank you so much for listening / watching this week. We'll be back same time, same place next week for more. You can't get rid of us, apparently. But until then, have an awesome week. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Toodaloo.